Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Unstable Podcast with me, Ricky Belshaw, and I am joined today by Hatty Preston.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming, mate. Really appreciate it. How's things?
Great, really good.
Yeah,
despite being in the Midlands, I'm really, really well.
What's wrong with the Midlands, mate?
No,
What's wrong with the Midlands?
I love
Because you
the
were
Midlands.
just giving it loads off camera about the Midlands.
I was. I had 3 glorious years at the University of Nottingham, so I'm not an anti-Midlander.
That's East Midlands, though, isn't it? You're West Midlands
It is
now.
different, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
It is different.
Massively,
yeah.
And then you're in Birmingham Glee this weekend.
I am. I'm at Glee Birmingham this weekend with a lovely lineup, which is really, really nice. It's my first kind of Christmas weekend at the Glee.
Okay.
So it's wild. Like they're out here. They're in their Christmas jumpers. Their works dues.
Well, speaking of Christmas jumpers,
it's not nothing.
What do you reckon?
It's not nothing,
Are you
Ricky.
feeling that?
Yeah, I really
Are you
am.
feeling
Not as
that?
hard as that reindeer underneath is, but
that reindeer's feeling it, and
yeah.
that one is as well. I wore this at a Christmas do one year. Works Christmas jumper day.
did it take them all a minute?
It took them the whole day, and then at the end of the day,
They went.
I got into big trouble.
Oh,
they
for
weren't a
reindeers
fan.
mounting reindeers.
Yeah, because I was dealing with customers, and I was front of house, and they didn't find the funny side of that, but I did. So anyway,
That's why not
That's
everyone's a
on
comedian.
them.
That's why some people are lame.
absolutely. So tell me about you, mate. What's going on?
No, not really.
We
Well,
talk
no.
about dark stuff here. We talk about light stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, just have a little chat-a-rooney.
I'm having a lovely time. I don't know if anyone else here is like a hoo-hoo astrology person, and that's absolutely fine if you're not. But
Go. But go on, talk to me.
well, basically right now Mercury's in retrograde. So it just means that lots of things are a bit off, like travel plans.
Sorry,
and
Mercury's in retrograde.
which means that for like a 3-week period,
Right.
communication, transport, messaging, like anything that relies on sort of something going from point A to point B is just a bit off, including like, I don't know if you're finding this, but like interactions with certain people, you're sort of almost like you're both like missing each other. And for instance, we have a show that we run in London, and I messaged them yesterday just to be like final checks, equipment in, chairs in. Everyone finally went, oh, sorry, the member of staff you organise this with doesn't work here anymore and we don't have it in the diary. I was like, I beg your pardon?
Oh.
He was like, no, we don't have it in the diary. We've got another event booked in, so you can't come. And you go, sorry, we booked tickets and there's comedians, like unbelievable comedians coming on. And I was like, what do you...
So you're organising an event?
I'm a producer for Don't Tell Comedy, which is the American brand, which I then brought over. Me and my friend Katie opened the London chapter. I'm about to open the Manchester chapter, and I love Don't Tell, but it's a lot of work just insofar as you're not putting on shows at comedy venues or performance venues. You're putting on shows in non-performance spaces. So there are like bookshops and gyms and museums and different venues. And I love it
quite like them gigs.
so much. They're beautiful. Like they look, we do such a good job of making them look good and whatever.
I did one in an old kiln.
Oh yeah,
an old clay kiln about a year ago, and it was literally in the kiln. It was like the circular room, and you think normally you want low roofs, don't you? Low ceilings and that, but it
actually
was just
works.
open, and it worked. It was fantastic, really nice. Sorry,
no, I love stuff like that. That's why I love Don't Tell. I love and I love what Don't Tell stand for and what they do. But anyway, it's a lot of work just as far as nailing down venues, convincing them that it's all fine and things, and we're going to look after them, etc. So this one, like, it's pre-Christmas, 12th of December. Lineup was hot as hell.
Go on, who was on?
Ishan Akbar, Mike Rice, me and Katie were doing it, and then Alexandra Haddow and Ahmed Ibrahim, who's just so wonderful. Get out.
You need a little bit. I think you need a little bit more disability diversity on that lineup, to be honest.
Yeah. Right, okay.
No, that is a fire
I'm on it.
lineup.
I'm ginger, so I think I count.
Yeah, that definitely counts.
But
no,
it
that
was
is a fire lineup.
Yeah, it was,
sick.
and you just go, oh, and so I was like,
so how's it been left?
Cancelled it. We've had to cancel
it. Oh.
12 days before Christmas in West End in London. You think we'll find another venue with no higher fee? It was, but again, this just goes back to you kind of have to have a breath and be like, Mercury's in retrograde. This isn't
what day of the week does it fall on?
Thursday.
Oh, I was going to say you couldn't even go to the store, could you?
Well, we can't do it in performance venues. We can't do it in any venue. It's a performance space. So it just narrows it down.
And you're blaming Mercury for this?
Very much so.
Why? Yeah, so it's Mercury's fault. I'm not into this, so break it down for me. Why is...
Everyone who hates this is going to zone out on this bit, and I'm really, really sorry. Yeah, Mercury's a planet.
Yeah.
The idea being, when you're on 2 trains that are going next to each other, if one starts going faster, it looks like the other one's going backwards. But that's not the truth. They're both going forward. It just looks like it's a kind of optical illusion. One of them's going back.
Yeah.
It's very much that with the way the Earth's rotating and Mercury's rotating for a 3-week period, 3 times a year. It looks like Mercury's going backwards, but it's actually not. Right. And this then relates to all of us on planet Earth who things look like they're going a certain way, but actually they're not. And you think you're doing one thing, but actually you're not at all. It just kind of skews things.
Okay.
Things like mean, for this Mercury retrograde, on like 2 days before, the whole of Heathrow came to a standstill because there was a computer problem with the planes. And it's all this stuff. Like, you'll accidentally send your emails to the wrong person. You'll accidentally drop your bag down at the train station and forget to pick it up.
I've made a few mistakes. I've sent an invoice. I sent an invoice yesterday. And instead of it being for £300, I invoiced them for £3,000.
So you should, Ricky. No, that's just you being Delulu.
Yeah, to be honest, it was,
That's not Mercury.
But you know what?
That's you being a male comedian.
I wish I'd have known about this Mercury thing yesterday, because with what I had done yesterday, I could have done with him being very accurate. For those of you who don't know, I had a load of injections in my spine yesterday, like really invasive stuff. So I wish I'd have known about the...
and did you do a good job?
I think so.
Find out, won't we?
I don't know. I can't see. It's my back.
But no. So I think in terms of how I'm very, very well.
Yes.
I'm aware that Mercury is in retrograde, so I'm just trying to be very zen and chill and accepting and whatever about it. But I am also a hormonal ginger, so it doesn't always come out like
doesn't
that.
Always, I mean, you're coming across very calm now.
Thank you.
I'm not nervous in the slightest.
Good.
No, not one bit.
Good.
Not one bit. So you're on a wicked lineup this weekend.
Yes. So goodies.
Should I say his real name? No, I'll say his stage name. Sol Bernstein. Mr. Ferry.
McFerry, the very one. And then Bruce Devlin, which is really nice.
Great lineup. If you're around, I mean, actually, I'm saying this.
I was going to say it'll be over, won't it? I suddenly realised that.
Don't go to Glee this weekend because she won't be there.
I won't be there.
Won't be there.
But you can go.
Yeah,
but I won't be there.
But it won't be Hattie. So you talk about your IVF, because that's, I think, really interesting.
That's so nice of you.
A single lady.
I am a single lady.
Single lady, but you want a baby.
Yeah.
And you know, there are certain things normally you do.
Yeah, no, I've been told.
Apparently.
I've been told this is what I'm meant to do.
I've been practicing for years, but you know, but you're going down a different route.
I am. And you know what? And I think I said to you earlier, I'm so excited about falling in love one day. This isn't a man-hatey move or a disillusionment move. I just haven't met anyone I want to keep forever.
Not even Freddie?
No, not Freddie. Not Freddie yet. He's, you know, we'll hopefully one day. Hopefully one day we finally make it official.
I can see you and Quinn together.
No, you can't.
I can.
Absolutely. I certainly can't. Don't ever say that again. That's mortifying.
I can see you underneath Mr. Quinn,
We're trapped. Trapped. I love him
but no,
so much.
I can see that. I think that none of you will admit it, but I think you both.
You think we're madly in love with each other?
Yeah,
I think
I do.
One of us, and by one of us I mean Freddie, would be dead in a day. I think we like.
Oh, I'm not saying it'd be a good relationship.
No, it'd be the most awful, unhappy,
but I'm saying
desperately sexless,
both
like really loathing relationship. Yeah,
I think it'd go one of two ways. I think it'd either be that, or that's how you'd portray it on the outside.
We'd have dynamite sex life.
You'd go home, it'd be a dynamite sex life, but then also it'd be really like loving and caring.
Well, it is very loving. Like
you'd cuddle, and he'd have like candles out for you, and
he is one of those boys. He's secret. He's secret. One of those boys.
He comes across like a little prick on stage.
No, he's secret.
He's a lovely bloke.
He is, but I love having that as my friend. I love having that side of Freddie as my mate, who is the first person to turn up for you, and the first person to call and make sure 100%. You're okay, and the first person to check in up. Like I'm so grateful for that. But he's been very sweet about the IVF stuff.
He's a good boy. Sorry, sidetracked them.
No, you didn't at all.
I think, yes, I can see you with Mr. Quinn.
God, please, God, can we not?
Yeah. I'll see what I can do for you. I'll have a word.
Oh, thank God.
So Freddie is not...
He's not the donor. He's not the donor. Okay. No. So like I was saying, this is not a man-hate move. This is just, I'm very excited one day about falling in love. I will just be doing it backwards. I think I will have my gang first, and then maybe one day when I meet someone who is deserving of my love and self.
Yeah. Okay.
I will. That's my new mantra. Who is deserving of me?
Deserves this.
But I am also just older. You know, I'm in my late 30s.
How old
now.
Are you, if you don't
37.
37. Okay. Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, which is I've always wanted to be a mummy. I've wanted to be a mummy a lot more than I've ever wanted to be someone's wife.
Yeah.
I'm not that person who grew up imagining her wedding day. I just was never. And I got
to the point. Wanting a kid.
Always. And I was a nanny for a very, very long time. I was a nanny for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things when you start looking down the road of single mumming, you go, well, listen, I'm not in any way saying being a nanny is like being a mother. It's a very different ball game. No. But having done, helped raise 2 children for the best part of 3 years for 55 hours a week.
Yeah.
There's a part of you that knows the day-to-day.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I know what the day-to-day is.
Yeah,
I obviously don't know the day-to-day when your hormones are raging, when you haven't slept, when this thing you love more than anything else in the world is in. I mean, I love those children. But
you also hate it in equal measure at that time.
Correct. And you're going through all the changes that women go through after with motherhood. So I am not saying I've already done it, but I am aware of the day-to-day. I know what a day of child rearing is. I did it long enough, and I believe I did it to a high enough standard.
You didn't kill any of them, did you?
No, and
I have any like McCann situations.
No, still there. I'm scarred.
In that case, you smashed it.
No, and I still see them loads, and I genuinely, it's one of my. Every time I go back and see them, I mean, they're older now, obviously, but they're still children, but they're older than I had them. And it still remains one of my absolute proudest. Yeah, they know it's wild, isn't that? Kids do that.
Mad.
But they do. They remain probably one of the things I'm most proud of is the job I did for those children. I think they're good people.
Over in the States, you did that?
I did nanny in the States. These 2, the longest job I had was the kind of 3-year one, and it was in Southwest London.
Right, okay. Because we should explain, you were out in the States.
I was, yes. So I started comedy in the States. That was a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. And then came back to London. So my whole comedy trajectory is confused.
You were born over here.
Very much so.
Moved over there.
Yeah, for a bit.
Fucked it off and came back.
Well, I had to.
Why?
They really like visas over there. And
Right,
really like them.
Yeah,
and I absolutely, mine was on its way out.
Right.
And so, and it was one of those where I was going to start getting in trouble. You know, I was like dangerous to go. I came back kicking and screaming. I was not.
Right. You didn't want to come back.
Did not. Absolutely did not.
Could you not have applied for extra, or did they not give you the...
It was the working side of things. So it was more, I could have stayed out there longer because I was on a training visa, but the way that comedy was going, I obviously needed to start earning and things like that. So it was just one of those where you're like, no, you're going to jail. Well, you're good. Worse. They're so hardline about it in America. I would have been banned for 10 years. You know, if you put one foot out of line, like you're out, you're gone for 10 years. And that is somewhere
behind that wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe in the wall.
Yeah,
I think you are in the wall. Yeah. That's actually what the wall is made of. All the people who didn't play by the rules.
These are visa breakers
wall.
Bricks.
So I did not want to be part of the wall.
I'm not going to ask what the mortar is.
No, we shall not.
No. So you came back over here, started comedy over there. Is there much of a difference between comedy over there?
Yeah. It was a real baptism of fire, that one, coming back and starting again.
How?
The big one I would say is confidence. So in America, you're walking on like a Saturday night at the Laugh Factory, which is where I kind of grew up, as it were, comedy-wise, in Chicago. Saturday night at the Laugh Factory, that room is hot, and you are walking out like you are the biggest dog alive. You're like, I'm the fucking this, like this is the fucking Laugh Factory.
Proper American energy.
I'm the dog. You know you're about to watch the dog, and they're like, he's that dog. They want the confidence. They want the bravado. They want you to stand up on stage and be like, you are so lucky to be here. I'm about to light y'all up.
Yeah.
If you do that in England, so help you God, if you walk on stage like, hey, lucky to be here, I guess it's motherfucking me.
I'm here,
like,
bitches.
they're like, get out. I hope you die.
But it works the way around, didn't it? James Acaster went out to do whatever, the late night, one of the late shows.
He did the Fallon, didn't he? Yeah.
And they edited in the laughs, but if you talk to him, he died on his arse. They hated that awkward, self-deprecating.
Yeah. They need you to have a bit of vavavoom.
So I've always wondered how my stuff would go down out there, because it is self-deprecating, but it's confident with it. I've always wanted to go out just to try it.
Yeah, it's the difference with the other big difference, not just confidence, is speed. Right. So when you are working it out, when you're coming up through the American system, the open mics you're doing are 4 minutes. 4 minutes. So it's 3 in New York, 4 everywhere else.
Jokes aren't even...
Exactly. And that's what most English people get screwed on is in America, they are machine guns. Those jokes are coming thick and fast. They're coming thick and fast. Every joke you have kind of has to be less than 4 minutes, because when you're working it out, you get the light at 3 and you are off at 4. It's not one of those like, loose 4. You are off at 4. Okay. And so it means that quick fire, the sets are... Bang, 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 bang. Even the bigger comics over there, I mean, they might be longer jokes, but if you listen to the punch-ups, they're quick.
Yeah. There's loads of
English people. There's just so much waffle. There was so much waffle and fat
hate
trimming.
That about new comic, because I'm getting to a stage now where people are sort of asking me for advice and stuff, and I just say the best thing you do is write down your set word for word how you actually say it, not how you plan to say it, how you actually say it, and highlight where the laughs are.
Yeah, and trim the fat.
And then where there's gaps, either put a joke in or fuck it off.
Yeah, you
don't need as many words as we say over here.
It's a lot of waffle. So,
it's
and
the
I
newer
think
comics, yeah.
And if you go over there,
and
you're getting 10
like
spots.
I'm a big time pro. I know my level.
No, but and also everyone has different methods. But you go over there, and even big comics, you're 10 spots.
Yeah.
On a lineup on a Saturday night at Cellar or NYCC or Factory, you're 10 spots. A Laugh Factory will sometimes do 15 if it's like one of the big boys. But you don't have that time. You've got to get in and get out. If you haven't got a laugh within the first 30 seconds a minute, you're dead.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a real. That's why I keep going back over there a lot as much as I can, because it keeps me honest and it's the kind of comedy I like.
So did you find it easier then doing comedy over here?
No, because I had to work out the confidence thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not winking at you.
No, I'd love it if you did. I had to work out the confidence thing, and also over here they need to like you. They need to buy into you as a person more.
Yeah.
They need to really it's why so many people.
Listeners, it looks like I'm crying now.
So I'm crying.
My eyes
I'm a very much. I think you've got gloop.
Oh, have I got an eye bogey?
You've got gloop. Yeah.
So I thought something had flew in, but
you've got gloop. Yeah.
This is great content audio, isn't it?
Thanks,
so
welcome.
guys. Yeah. Eye bogeys.
Yeah.
Thanks,
hey,
guys.
we're overcoming adversity every single day here.
Every day.
Every single minute of every single day.
Yeah, messing around.
Yeah, not.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
What was it? No, I did it. You have to. So it's why so many English people get up and go, I know what you're thinking. I look like if.
Oh, I hate that.
So do I. It's presenting their cartoon. They need people to buy into them as a personality or them as a cartoon or a version of themselves.
Yeah.
America, they're happy with that, with just banging out good jokes.
So you don't have to get that goodwill.
You have it.
That's what I mean. You don't have to earn it.
Yeah, because by virtue of them being there, they're like, oh, great, we're watching comedy. Obviously, not every room is a banger, but large, I think in England, there is a sense of, oh, you better be good. Oh, you better be good. Yeah, we'll see.
I think with comedy over here, they assume you're going to be shit. You've got to get, and I think especially, in fact, in both of our situations, for you as a woman in comedy and for me as someone disabled in comedy.
Yeah, watch them go.
I mean, for you as a woman, you walk on stage, and I feel it when I watch some women walk on stage, and the crowd just go, all right, woman, make me fucking laugh. And I felt that with me as well, but slightly differently. I think they think, oh, fucking hell. Is this guy actually, is this a sympathy
Is this
thing?
going to be sad? Is this going to make me sad? Am I going
to have to make myself laugh now?
Oh, is he here? So we all go, oh.
Is this Make-A-Wish? Like,
yeah. Oh, I didn't know this was a charity
was this
gig.
His dream before he dies? Like, fuck off. You've got my jokes. But do you know what I mean? Like, and I think...
you're caveated. Your whole set is caveated by the fact that, but they are a... insert here. A comedian, but they are a insert here.
Yeah, and I've always said I don't want to be known as a disabled comedian. I want to be known as a comedian who's disabled.
Do you get called that? Can I ask if you get called a disabled comedian?
Well,
that's what I mean by either on listings or
no,
on your bio.
No,
what is
they normally touch upon the Paralympic stuff.
Great.
They normally say Paralympian turned comedian or something like that.
Okay. So it is a kind of covered up way of saying.
Yeah.
Because I've started doing it, and I know they're doing it to be so sweet. I do know that, but I've had a couple of bookers recently being like, she's one of the best female comedians going. Or coming to stage, one of my absolute favourite female comedians. Or I've been on things being like, she's the best female comedian in the... And you're like...
But it's just
don't
need that word.
Could you just anyway? You could just see me as what you do. And I'm not very sensitive about it because I just it's whatever. There's bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? But like
Freddie.
Exactly. The whale. But I just it is one of those things where you're like, it's so funny to me that you don't hear it. It's so funny to me that when you're writing it or you're saying it or you're announcing it, you don't catch yourself and go, why does she have to have the female comedian?
Why is it relevant?
You don't even have to stand there and say she's one of the best comedians in the UK. Just be like, she's a comedian I love. We're really happy to have her, whatever. But it is, there's this caveated aspect to it, which maybe some people need. Maybe they've worked out that some of the old boys in the room need to know there's a female coming to the stage, because how else are they going to know that this is when they can go to the loo?
Yeah, so, to be honest, you beat me to it then. I was just about to say, how do they know when they need to...
That's when they get around
when
it.
They get the break,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Make a quick call to the office.
Here's the shit one. We can bounce now.
Exactly. You've got a breather now.
We've got jokes about periods coming up. We don't need to know about that.
You can go, honestly. Go check the car parking. I do think maybe it's that, but it isn't something that affects me because,
no, I don't. But I do find that annoys me if it's not done well.
Yeah.
Is when compares try and get a laugh out of me, out of my disability. After.
Yes.
If it's done well, it's great. If it's done poorly,
yeah.
I think just let me fucking have the last
What's
laugh.
your version of that? Because I have versions of that as a female.
How do you mean?
So if I've got, because I'm not clean.
No.
I'm not a clean comic, if anyone sees.
Yeah.
I'm not a clean comedian.
Yeah.
I will get by the worst MCs on the face of the earth, and I do mean that. And she's available for christenings and bar mitzvahs as well, if you want to, like, I'll get that, which is to comment on the fact that I've been a lady who has been very unladylike. Yeah. So what's your version?
So my a good one, like Longley, for example, has like gone as if he's going to kick me off the stage or like kick my stick or something and get the laugh like that. But then,
so that he's the dick.
So that he's the dick. Yeah. But then the bad ones is when they'll say something like, because I've already used the word spastic or okayed the word spastic, they have ownership. Use the word spastic to describe me walking off, and it's like it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like
that's
make room
interesting.
For the bad one that I'm not going to say who, but I'll make room for the little spaz as he comes out, and I just think, off you fuck.
Yeah, like, I can say that.
I've just explained the whole concept
etymology
of that
word. Yeah.
I've explained how, why, and when.
Yeah.
And that wasn't it. And also, wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
Mate.
Willie T, do you know Willie Thompson?
I
think you do. Northern Irish comic. He's got cerebral palsy as well. And
he did his podcast last week.
Yeah. He's big on that. He's like, if you say that word, I will fucking come for you. He's really, it's and for exactly the same reason. He's like, no. I have that word. That word has been thrown at me, used against me. It's your N word. And he's like, but also people don't understand the the etymology, the root of the word and what it actually means and where it comes from. And it is, he explained it to me, not that I was using it, but like, it's quite cerebral palsy.
It's very
focused. It's really almost entirely.
The Cerebral Palsy Society used to be called the Spastic Society.
They were.
That was what it was called, the Spastic Society. But that's what I mean. The word spastic never used to have a negative connotation.
It's just to describe what the muscles are literally.
The muscles are spastic, which basically means tight or they fight against the movement. So it was called the Spastic Society. Then people started getting called spastics and spaz, or so it got the negative connotation, so they changed it to the Cerebral Palsy Society. But I mean, the Lee Ridley, Lost Voice guy, he's got a whole bit about we used to have our own. I'm not going to do the joke, but it's a very, very good joke, and he's got we used to be called the Spastic Society.
Do you think you will queer it? Do you think you'll take it back? You know how the queer community took back queer? Do you think you'll ever take it back?
Do you mean me personally, or
as a group, as like a cerebral palsy community?
No, I
think you'll ever take it back?
No,
and make it like.
No, I don't. I think people are.
And also give people permission. It would also give people permission.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think.
It's like how every male comedian now thinks it's fine to be like, "All right, you bitch. All right, you slag," and you're like, "Whoa, just a sec," or even gay. I'm sort of amazed at like how easily this frat boy thing has come back in, where they're all like, "Oh, mate, that's fucking gay," and you're like. Okay, listen, when Shane Gillis does it, it is placed, it is very careful, it is in the context of like a sort of knowing wink to the room. Like he is a master of his craft.
He's established himself and the satirical,
the whole, and now every fucking Tom, Dick and Dickie is like, oh, he's fucking gay. And you're like, right, okay, I am so amazed. Except not with the ease with which the frat boy has returned into comedy. And
when I was growing up, like in primary school especially, if something was rubbish, we go, that's gay, that is.
We all did.
That was
Oh,
it.
you're being gay.
Yeah, stop being gay. Yeah. Oh, Mortal Kombat, it's gay.
Yeah, we did a lot of shit when we were little and we learnt.
But it wasn't said with any malice towards the gay community deliberately, but indirectly, it's absolutely disrespectful.
Well, it's still saying that gay is
the
rubbish.
word gay is negative.
Gay is negative. Yeah.
So it's bad. Yeah. I'm not trying to justify.
No. But I do. I just think like. It's not intelligent.
But I also think that times have changed in such a way that being gay now isn't seen as a bad thing to all people.
Do you think they don't feel like they're punching down?
Yeah. I do, because being gay is so much more accepted now that actually to say something's gay, although they're using it in that context, I don't think it's because it's not as hidden or shameful as it once was.
I think it is. I think it's actually sort of, I know what you're saying.
I still disagree with it. I'm not writing.
No. But I think it actually comes from a different place, which is maybe exactly that. The gay community are loud and proud and out and have exactly the same rights as they should have had all along. And actually it speaks to that like white male fragility again, so let's put it back down. Let's put it back down. Let's it's anything that threatens a status quo that maybe threatens them. Yeah. Like, as it would, they're like, well, let's put it back down. Let's put it back down. And I do think there's this sort of weaponizing of a lot of comedy. And again, this is not me bagging on men. I love our boys but like, it is funny that, like I said, I do think we're in a stage of life, not just comedy, but also we're seeing on a world stage. The frat boy has been really like low key resentful and angry for the last decade or so, like really pissed that all his like sick stuff you can do got like null and voided. Like we don't like toxic men, and we don't like, men running all the top 4 positions of power. We don't like men making all the decisions in the entertainment industry. We don't, and they've like low key been like, this is fucking bullshit, man. And so here we are in 2024, and they're like gradually like getting back at. I mean, we're watching it like everywhere,
making themselves out to be the victim now because it's
so they're like, I don't even mean it like that. And you're like, it's just ground. It's just you trying to like recover ground.
You've said it, bro.
Dude, brother. Yeah. No, that's me. That's Michael Rice as well, and I love him the most. And as the least toxic man on the scene, I would never. But
so gay.
So fucking gay. Like I do. I find it. It's really interesting.
The other day,
Michael.
Just with the F word, but not fuck. What we eat over here. I don't know, but we have fags, don't we?
Oh right.
And he was over in England, and it was just the way he was talking about that word and calling it people was just great.
He's
great.
I will say, obviously, I'm biased. He's one of my best mates, but he is. I would
do you
say,
know him?
Oh, very well. He's one of my best mates. He is virtually unfollowable at the moment.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's a comedian in the country who's happy going on after Mike at the moment.
Oh, he's on fire.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
and it's very exciting. Yeah. He's the best. Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, like some people I've heard like sort of slagging him off to like comedians, but not top level, not good comedians.
No, because he speaks to every single like insecurity people have. Like, he hasn't done industry. Yeah. He hasn't he only just got signed, and he wasn't that fussed about it. Like he hasn't done telly. He's not doing He's not doing like sketches on Instagram. He's not doing like crappy little hack stuff. He is just a bafflingly good comedian.
He's a good comedian. And a good bloke. And he's a good looking dude.
And a good bloke. And like a really good guy.
And I don't know him, I've not met him, but from what I've seen, I gather, he's absolutely...
No, and it speaks to every comedian's insecurity, which is like, oh no, talent does get you to the top. You're like, bad news, buddy, it does.
Just be funny.
Yeah, look, you're not a victim of like, oh, they hate straight white men. Guess they don't.
They fucking don't.
There's enough goodies like him. We were saying
this earlier, weren't we? Like, your diary's full for a long time now, and like that's good because you're a good female comic. So like myself, I tick a box. I like to think I'm okay. My diary's full for a long time. It's good people are booked, and the people who are moaning are the people who are fucking shit.
I just think I do feel there is obviously from a numbers perspective, we have to understand that like there are so many more straight white male comedians, and by straight white I mean like the non-disabled, whoever the fuck they're not vegan. I don't know, whatever the fuck they're doing.
SWM, but I know what you mean.
You are. I was going to say that's what I mean. So, but within that, I think I understand that there's a funnel, like there's a bottlenecking. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of them. We're going a long time, and they're just those spots that are coming down. I do always just go back to this thing, which is still the biggest, richest, most successful, most prominent comedians in this country are straight white men. So it's obviously not completely stacked against you. I think the problem is if you're a non-memorable one. There's so many of you, and that's not our fault. That is your fault. There's so many of you. If you aren't memorable, that's the problem. Yeah. If you are lost in a sea of straight white men on a lineup, you like the best one, people still go home and go, I fucking love that guy.
One comic in particular, and I'm not going to name names.
No, because we're good girls.
I don't want to be disrespectful because I actually love this person. I think they're incredibly talented. Like I'd book them every day of the week. They'd be one of my go-to. But I think that for the reasons you've just said, they're going to struggle to make it onto the telly because they blend in.
They're unmemorable,
And I'll tell you when we're not who I'm on about, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me, and it's tragic that that's the case because they are so incredible.
I think I know. But But also, telly isn't the be all and end all now. But it's more about the idea of like honing your crowd. And I think what I find so interesting about it is there's that lovely, what I found a great definition of charisma the other day. Charisma is charm that inspires devotion. Now, we're all charming. All of us are charming. No, but as in we're able to turn it on and fool people. We can all be charming. That's the gig. Yeah. But it's the difference when you inspires devotion. Like, I use Mike as an example because he does. His fans
he's got an amazing
adore him, and they should. And Paul Smith, they love him. They want to be his mate. And you look at him, even when he's doing crowd work, even when he's slagging people off, even when he's being rude, he loves them. And they know he loves them. And he's on their side. There's no malice. You don't devote yourself to someone who thinks you're a piece of shit. You don't devote yourself to someone who speaks down to you. You devote yourself to the boys like Mike. It's why the Belfast boys do so well.
They're killing it over there
because they're so proud of their people, the fans. They love the fans. They're good to them. Like, they're really, there's a love that goes both ways.
Emmanuel, Welsh guy.
I don't think it's Simon Emmanuel. I don't think so.
So he's Cardiff based, and they've started a podcast last year. It's been going about 12, 18 months, and they've done in Wales what like Will and stuff have done in there, and they are killing it.
So they should,
and they're going to do live stuff out on the streets, and they've got such a fan base out there because they're just so like welcoming and loving, and they're just dicks. But they're dicks with their fellow dicks, and they're just great, and they're liked because they're so lovely and warming and charming, as you say, in their own way, and it's great.
It's the real difference. You can tell the comedians who get up on stage and there is disdain for their audience. They immediately go in on the like, "What the fuck do you do?" or like, "Why is that shit? You look like shit." And you're like, okay, wait, stop. These people bought tickets to come and watch us. That is the kindest thing anyone could do. What about you? Do you think it is that you stand up on stage and immediately rip them apart?
And the irony is that I think Paul Smith has inspired a lot of that because
they don't understand what he's doing, which is he loves them. Even when he's taking the piss, you feel like he'd drink with them afterwards. And he probably would. He's so lovely. He loves them. He loves what they're giving him. He's great. There's just a mutual adoration that I think people, you're exactly right, they've missed the important ingredient. They've missed the important thing. Michael does it. Like there's this, like, even when he's sitting there telling them when they're a paedophile, like he loves them, like they're his brothers or whatever. And I do think that's the ingredient that these people so miss. And
Massively.
It's that lovely thing. And I know we've got to stop because we want to do, but it's that lovely always thing. Like the quote I always go back to is a Maya Angelou quote: "People will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did. They will never forget how you made them feel." Yeah,
100%.
And comedians forget that every single day.
Yeah, that's it. Just before we do go to a break, I think also what people, especially new comics, see, they see like comedian destroys heckler and they think they've got to go dead hard. What they haven't seen is the 10 minutes prior where that guy's being a twat. Where that guy has already pissed off the audience. They've already pissed off everybody else in the room, not the comedian.
The comedian is doing right by the room.
They've pissed off everyone else in the room. So the comedian's job then is to appease the rest of the room and call them out, and that's what people miss.
I know.
They just don't get it. And on that note, we haven't even spoke much about your idea.
Oh my God, we did it!
We've gone on totally on a mad one. Good. So we are going to go on a quick break.
Do adversity in a minute. We'll do adversity in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about some nasty, horrible egg shit in a minute. So we'll see you in a bit. Toodles. Welcome back, guys. We are here again, part 2. She stuck around. She hasn't left. I thought she was going to do a runner when she filled up a drink, but she came back. So it's all good. Like so let's talk about eggs.
Eggs. Okay. Sorry, we got sidetracked. So
because I'm dead interested in it, genuinely.
First of all, I just want to make absolutely clear. I know we're talking about adversity. I have had a lovely life. I've had a very lovely life.
When I say adversity, I just challenge anything that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I figure I just want to make sure that no one sits here thinking I'm like victims. I'm so lucky. Even doing IVF, like it costs so much money. Yeah. I was so lucky to have a family who have helped me out financially and supported it all financially. I am not going to sit here and be like, my poor. Like, I am the luckiest girl alive that I had this option available to me.
For your peace of mind, when I started the podcast, I wanted it to be about, let's talk about hard, challenging, really difficult times. But as it's progressed, I feel like it's got a little bit more Joe Rogan-y, and I just like to hear people's stories.
Okay, good, because I am never going to sit here and be like, Hatty and her adversity, like I'm middle class from London.
Luckily, with me being unstable,
you can bring the unstable.
Means so much. It means so many different things that actually It doesn't
I can also
matter.
absolutely bring unstable. I mean, Jesus, that's no problem.
Oh, you've done that. Believe me. For the last half an hour, you have achieved.
Also, ask around. Unstable, I'm good for.
Just watch a podcast.
See me in a green room.
Don't watch her with Freddie, though. She changes.
I'm nice with Freddie.
She's a different person around Freddie. I wonder why.
Because of our deep-seated love. IVF has been quite the ride. IVF.
No, it hasn't.
Well, that's the opposite. Yes, zero.
No,
absolutely no rides.
The reason you've gone for IVF is through the lack of rides.
Do you know what is so funny? Actually, I've got a friend who was also going through IVF, and you've got to giggle about this stuff, as I'm sure you know. Like,
that's what this pod is about.
That's what it is. But you finish there's so many hormones. There's such a long process of taking the eggs out, jacking everything fully. You're becoming like a turbo woman. Yeah. If you consider you're meant to produce 1 egg a month, they're getting you to a place where, like I, for instance, who've done my egg collection, I produce 15. Your body is in mad overdrive. You are over-womaning to a point of just...
Sorry, guys, I'm just going to put my phone on silent. Is it me? No, it's because I keep pinging.
Because I don't think mine's on silent.
No, it's me. It's,
oh, right,
sure? It's me being a prick, Sorry, if you heard that, it's my phone. I'm popular. What can I say?
What can I say?
My gift is a curse.
I know. You male comedians. So you are... But my friend was going through IVF, and after she got inseminated, which is when they put the embryo, so they've taken your eggs out, they've got the donor sperm or the partner sperm, whatever it is you're using. My case is a donor sperm, obviously. They make an embryo. So
they put the sperm in the egg.
In a dish. They kind of just leave them all. So all
Scramble
the eggs,
it.
all the sperm's in a dish. And you just watch who fertilizes
so they don't actually inject it in.
No,
they put a bit of spunk in.
Yeah, it's all again, and they just watch which fertilizes, who fertilizes, and...
You know what? So I have had a massive misconception there, because that is, for me, the first stage of survival of the fittest. The best sperm gets the best egg.
Darwinism,
So, Darwinism. So in my head, rightly or wrongly, and you might bollock me for this, that's fine, I've been worried about the future of humans, thinking, well, they're just going to grab a random bit of spunk, put it in an egg, and that might not have been the one that got there. So we're weakening.
They're recreating the uterus.
Right,
Except
I didn't know that.
There are, in my case, 15 eggs rather than 1.
Right, okay.
So still, the fastest best sperm is fertilizing the eggs that it comes.
That's really reassured my mind.
And also, from an egg perspective, if they're not good, they won't grow past a certain point. So they don't become embryos, and they don't get frozen, they don't get kept. Right. So weirdly, with IVF...
Is that why some women have miscarriages and stuff? Yes.
So and again, I hate using the word triggering, but I think when you're talking about this subject, I just need to flag if there are any listeners with this. And it's a lot. I'm very sorry. Generally, though, miscarriages there are exceptions, but the overwhelming majority there will have been an unhealthy embryo.
That's
so it's the body, the body getting rid of something that isn't particularly well.
Darwinism.
Like I said, yes, very much Darwinism, and that is a horrible thing to say, and it's the most emotional, traumatic thing. But largely, the body has detected there's something wrong. And so they get rid of it. Now, there are obviously exceptions to that if there's been like a bump or a trauma or whatever.
Of course.
But it's largely is usually that.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, trigger warning there. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, but it's, it's a grim one. And I think maybe, I don't know, women are always like, the more we talk about it, you're like, I don't know. I think some women actually would maybe like to process it in their own way and have their own story around it and have their own understanding. So I don't know.
But I think it's in people have their own ways of coping with things.
Yeah.
The comedian, what's her name? Rachel, Scottish woman. Is it Jackson? Rachel. Yeah. So sure it's Rachel Jackson. She moved over to the States now.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she was sexually abused with the R word. And I've said it like that so YouTube doesn't flag it. And she talks about it on stage as a way of coping. She wrote it, and that's how and she got verbally attacked after the gig by someone who had the same thing happen to her, kicking off saying, how dare you, but it's like,
no,
that's
mine,
your coping mechanism. That's
mine.
My story, and if I want to share my story, I will. I'm not sharing your story, and if your way of coping is absolutely fine, do it
it's
your
valid
way.
If it works,
whatever works for you. We've all got our own things, but I don't think the woman in the audience had any right
I don't.
to criticise.
It's women at that
talking about her own experience.
It's women at that absolute worst, and it's the issue we have with feminism is the desperate need to speak on behalf of everyone else. And you go, what do you mean?
Not just feminism, it's everything.
It is everywhere. You're right. I think it's everyone. This thing about, well, you know, as a such and such and such, you're like, whoa. Like, we're all so different. Nuance is being so lost in this like mad dash to over-represent everyone. You go, why can't I? Like you saying about Rosie, wait, was that on camera?
It was off camera, but
no. But you saying about like, you can just edit that bit out.
That's fine.
You saying about like, if you go and watch certain comments with a disability, actually maybe what you don't want to do is sit there and have someone do disability jokes for 20 minutes to half an hour. Yeah. Same reason I don't necessarily, obviously everything is skewed through the eyes of a woman, but I don't necessarily want to sit and listen to a 20-minute lecture on periods. Like so it's just, we're all so nuanced and different, and I just think we get into such territory and we go, on behalf of.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I did a gig. It was the day before yesterday I did a gig. It was a curb gig down south, and it was awful, right? So it was they'd changed the way they normally done it. They had like a Christmas party.
Oh, right.
So they all had just had a 3-course Indian meal, and then there's about 6 tables of 10, but there's loads of mini groups on each table. It was just weird. So I'm on stage, I'm opening. The MC had just done a fantastic job. They're warm. I get on stage, and I'd learnt very early on in my set that the table to the right of me were all mothers of kids with special needs.
Oof.
They're all
so there's like my schools. People.
I'm like, I am going in here, and I'd read them perfectly, and I went in.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about earlier, I'd got it right, and it was with love, and I was like, right one, which one of them is the most fucked? I was like, but this is going to sound like I've misjudged it, but I judged it perfectly because they got it right. You
were on their side.
I was even going on like, which one's going to die first?
Yeah, all right,
like,
good.
I really went in deep. They were loving it.
Yeah.
The rest of the room.
Everyone else is like, no.
They got offended on my behalf, on their behalf, on the kids' behalf that weren't there, and I couldn't rescue the gig. They all had they hated me. They thought I was the worst human alive for asking them about their kids' disabilities and then sharing my own stories. And I was getting giggles, but I was looking at it because it was really well lit as well. Which
that was. Oh, so, good. I want to see everyone, please.
Could see, but because you've got to bear in mind as well that there was different groups that had been put together on these tables, so they didn't all know each other. So there was the odd couple of people that would find it funny, but they're sat on a table with people that were horrified. So they were smiling and laughing internally, but I was getting nothing back. It was horrific. And I finished the set by addressing it. I said, you guys are fucking idiots. I said, I've just had a right laugh with them. They're on board. I'm on board. But you're getting offended and upset.
On behalf of a group that you have nothing to do with.
Don't want or need
your
defending.
Pity.
And I said, this gig has been shit. I said, it's shit. And I said, I hope I've ruined each and every one of your evenings. Happy Christmas.
I can't wait for you to get signed by Curb.
But I was angry at them.
Yeah, I
know that's contradictory to what we've said earlier.
No, I get it, but it's people deciding on your behalf.
As I walked out, this table came up and they all had pictures with me. They've all followed me. I've had like 4 messages saying how good it was, and they want, when I've got my first hour, they want to come and see me. Like, they were loving it. And you know what? It was worth pissing the other 50 people off to get them.
Oh, you can't. You got to ditch off the ones you're not going to get.
I loved it. I loved it. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, I like
that.
But
it's right. It's people that are getting offended and upset on behalf of. And it's like the feminism thing. I am 100% for feminism in the true sense of the word, because feminism is about equality. And I think women should be treated exactly the same as their counterpart male.
Not with heavy things. Not with heavy things.
No,
not with heavy things.
No, not with heavy things. Or
spiders.
Spiders.
Yep.
Yeah, spiders.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
doors.
Apple TV.
Doors, yeah.
Apple TV.
Yeah. Paying on the first date.
Oh, no, I'm big one for that. Big one for that.
Yeah,
I'm a big one for that. I think I always have to.
But what I'm not for is for female superiority. I don't think that's fair. And I understand.
No, we'll keep ourselves down also. We're too fucking awful to each other. We'll self-police. We'll tear each other down. Don't you worry. We can't get too big and fancy. We will tear each other down. We'll destroy each other. I went to an all-girls school. I've seen what happens when a girl starts doing too well. Yeah. She's eaten alive by the rest of the women in that community.
I would rather go to a gig with 20 stag doos than one hen.
Hey, brother, me too.
Yeah.
My mate who runs a club in New York actually messaged me out the blue one day and he was like, right, real quick, talking to a friend, worst person in a comedy club. I was like, straight white women, drunk white women on a hen do.
Yeah.
Every single time, drunk white women on a hen do. It is.
And to be specific, the chief bridesmaid.
Nurses.
Yeah.
It's always the way.
Although actually, I have quite a good rapport with nurses,
bet you do.
so that's not the right for me.
Your
but
girls.
I can see what you're saying.
I just, they're awful. So again, no, we got into this because I was saying, it's like when I speak about IVF, I just want to make sure everyone knows I'm speaking about it from my place.
Yes.
Whatever. I don't
and if you don't agree, you're wrong.
No. Fucking fine me. I've never felt, IVF doesn't feel like an adversity choice. It feels like the choice of someone who does very much want a child and just hasn't met the person she wants to do that with.
Yeah.
But I will say along the way, and I've said this to other women who I've spoken to about it, if you're going to go for having a baby by yourself, there are so many pluses. I cannot tell you how many pluses there are. Like I'm watching my friends try and raise a child with a man and I cannot tell you how many pluses there are to what I'm about to do. However,
such as?
Emotional labor. So I, as much as I love the men in my life, I love my good dad friends who are just such wonderful dads. There is no version I see anywhere where they are taking on an equal load, even if the woman is working, even if the woman's earning more than them.
Yeah.
There is no version where they know their child's feet size, where they know what they've eaten for lunch, where they are prepping the meals that they're going to have tomorrow. The emotional labor that a woman is doing at any one time of like, have they signed up to this? Have we paid for this one? Have we got the meal preps ready for this week? We've got a very busy week, so we need to make sure the nappy bag is ready for 3 different days. There's swimming in the afternoon. I am yet to see a man, I'm not saying they're not out there.
Wow.
I'm yet to see a man who is doing the emotional and mental gymnastics that a mother is doing in order to keep the house and the world and her child running. Like, even like me and my best mate were on the phone the other day talking buggies, just because she was like going in for one and we were trying on as a nanny. So you're just discussing like the best buggies. I was like, do you think there's a man alive who's called his other dad mate before the baby's come along and gone, mate, can I just talk to you about buggies for a minute? Not a fucking chance.
Yeah. I am not disputing that. And I reckon in the vast majority of the cases, you're absolutely right. What I will say, I'm really careful what I say now, because I don't want to give this person away.
Yeah.
I've got a friend and it is the exact opposite to what you've just said.
Well, good. I'm really glad.
Everything. And I feel for him as a result. Because not only that, he's the main breadwinner of the house as well.
Yeah. And now
there's so much pressure on him.
There is. And that is a lovely fact.
Yeah.
There are.
Well, no, it's not.
No, but as in he's one. He's one. I know so many girls that's the case for. And I think.
And that's sad.
It is sad. But the difference is I don't have that expectation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be disappointed by anyone. I have no expectation of this person being a co-leader with me or a co-captain. I have no expectation. So I can't be disappointed. And then there's that other thing of like, if and when it works, and I'll be so grateful. I'll be fat and hormonal and my body will be different and I won't recognise me. No, don't you dare, I can't bear it. That's going to be my one thing.
I couldn't help it. I saw it and I took the cheap shot and I apologise. I'm sorry.
And to then there'd be like one eye on, am I still fuckable? Like, does this person still want me? Am I boring and annoying and whingy and smell of vomit and my hair's gross? Like, I'm not saying that, that's the least of women's problems right after they've given birth, but there is a thing that runs through of like, still being desirable to this person you love and the pressure that comes with that. And I do think in so many ways I'm extremely lucky that I've removed all that pressure and all the sort of, I won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
But there are things that along the way I've just had to sit with and be like, these are tiny, and I call them tiny little griefs.
Okay.
I just had to sit with the tiny little griefs and register them and get over them so they don't shock me. Like, I won't get the moment of turning around to my lover and saying,
Freddie.
Freddie, I won't get the moment of turning around to this person I love and going, we're going to have a baby.
Yeah.
I won't get that moment.
Yeah.
And I won't get that moment of having the person I love more than anything else in the world watch me give birth and be so proud of me and think I'm so remarkable and have his child in the world and feel like I've birthed his child. I won't have, you know, the moments of like the father's race. There's silly things and you know, I know when we go to school, there'll be a few chats that we're going to need to have about why there's not a dad. So, but I think what I've done, I hope what I've done well.
Just tell him he died.
Yeah, sure. Tell him it's Freddie. They'll wish he had. Yeah.
He died during birth. During the
God, do I have to have a dad? So I think for me, it's been about
trust me, son, you're better off without him. Yeah.
We're real good. It's about just me being honest with myself about the tiny little griefs. You know, the things that as any girl, you kind of go, oh, when we do that and like when we have this. So I think that's been mine is just, and then the thing that like some boys say, and you just go, for fuck's sake. I've had a guy friend turn around to me and be like, oof, it's going to be a lot harder for you to meet someone when you've already got a kid. And you go, well, okay, well then I won't meet him.
Well, you know what? Because I've been single for just over a year now, and I've just recently got back on the apps. The age I'm at, I am not shocked.
This is what I said.
Got one or more children. Like
I'm 37 years old. I said, the chances are I will end up with someone who also has their own children from something else.
That you haven't got a kid yet is actually more unusual as a single lady now.
Unless I'm pumping for 25-year-olds. Yeah. And listen, that says more about me.
That would say anything. Yeah. I love the expression as well, pumping for
25-year-olds. And listen, I've done my cougar years and they were, but I am done. Yeah. And I think this thing of like, well, you're going to be a harder sell now. And you're like, okay, to whom?
I don't.
To whom?
And if you are a harder sell, you don't want that person. I don't want them anyway.
Well, this is part of it. And my taste in men is so completely...
What is the taste? Describe, taking Freddie out of the equation, describe your perfect man.
I don't know anymore. And the problem is, it's not my taste in them. It's what I apparently am okay putting up with.
Right. Okay.
And I think the last one especially, I really caught myself. You really just go... It has to stop. This just has to stop. I wouldn't accept this treatment. I wouldn't accept this treatment from anyone else. But simply by virtue of the fact that I fancy you, I'm like, okay. And I think there's something lovely about, and I found myself knowing that it's one thing me being made to feel a certain way. It's one thing me being treated with maybe less than I deserve. It's a whole other thing my child watching that happen.
100%.
And I think it has become this thing that has weirdly made me probably more formidable and more choosy and more sure of myself is the idea that anyone I now bring into my life, my child is going to watch their treatment of me. My child is going to watch how they turn up for me. My child is going to watch how they navigate the earth. And suddenly you go, it's not good enough actually. It's really not good enough.
You more... not picky, maybe that's the wrong word.
Sensible. There's this lovely line. There's Adrienne Rich, she's a poet, and she has this line about she has this lovely line where it's I promise myself I'm going to love with all my intelligence. And I love that idea of loving with all your intelligence because we don't love with all our intelligence. We love with, oh my God, he's so fit. Or like, oh my God, I want this. Or like, oh my God, I know it's awful, but it's kind of zingy and exciting. Like I think I'm dangerously close in this chapter of my life, this season of my life. Finally.
Come on, touch some wood.
Come on, 37,
you can't
any day now.
There's a desk here. There's a wooden desk and we are touching it. She wasn't touching my wood.
I think I am dangerously. I was going to say I could have just done this. I am dangerously close, I hope, to loving with all my intelligence going forward because the other option is not. Freddie. It's not sustainable now. So, Freddie would be an intelligent move. I'd be well settled. I don't mean that. It'd be awful.
Eat well.
I'd eat well.
You'd eat well.
God, yeah.
No, it's
I need a fella who can cook. Actually, I do need that because Charles going to starve to death. If I
just saying, I trained to be a chef.
Did you? Oh, Ricky, here we go. Charles going to starve to death.
You heard it here first, baby. Yeah. No, that's got awkward dead quick, hasn't it? Sorry about that.
It hasn't. I love it.
Yeah. No. So, but I think it's dead interesting because you're a woman of a certain age. Yeah. And don't mean anything by that.
Greg Wallace.
Shit. Here we go.
He's done. This is it. This is the final episode of Ricky's podcast.
I just flirted and then insulted within 2 sentences. Fuck's sake.
He's dead.
But no, realistically, you're on a time scale than a man. And
it's just different.
That's not disrespectful to say. It's fucking science.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that you really wanted a child and you hadn't met someone that you're happy to have that child with, fucking good luck to you. That's wicked.
Yeah.
How do you select what's the process?
Everyone's different, and I'm going to tell you this. I went on and said this on Have a Word pod, and Adam nearly fell off his chair laughing. So my criteria for this, and everyone's different.
I'm bracing myself.
My thing was, right, so before I say this, I have to explain. In this country, not in America, it can be a closed donorship, which means you can never find the fella, you can never contact him, he can never. Yeah. In England, it has to be an open one. Right, so at 16, they are legally, children, however many I have, were legally allowed to ask for the information on their donor dad.
Okay.
At 18, they are legally allowed to reach out and find him with the last known correspondence or track him, whatever.
Okay.
And he had to legally agree that is okay.
So did he know who?
No, he will know. Apparently, donors are told when they have an active pregnancy. So if it takes, they will be notified that they've been chosen and there's an active pregnancy.
Playing devil's advocate, here, you get 100% of the choosing rights there, which I don't actually disagree with.
Yeah.
Do you not?
I know what you're going to say.
Do you not think that they should say?
I think they've signed it off.
I'm not happy.
I think they've signed it off because that's their thing is donor. They are donating. In the same way that if we donate
I'm not saying
it's a good question. If we donate to Comic Relief, we don't go, sorry, not that African child, that African child.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's the spirit of donating.
I mean, that makes sense. Now you said it like that, it makes sense, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, isn't it? Who could turn up? My thinking on it was...
Have you been asked that before?
No, I know. It's interesting though. It is really interesting because in this country, like I said, those children may well turn up. Yeah. They can't ask for anything, by the way. They can't ask for anything, demand anything, need anything, whatever. But it's more just reaching out
to say hello.
Yes, and register their existence and things. My thing was, what would break my heart is if, and it would shatter me, is if they ever did one day want to reach out, and they may not, but if they ever want to, and I was like, I need him to be kind. I need him to sound kind.
Okay.
And all of them have a handwritten letter. All of the donors, there's a handwritten letter at the back of the pack, at the back of the thing, explaining why they're a donor, what they're about, what they do, what they, what the kind of route. And he just sounded kind. And I was like, even if...
And Adam laughed at this bit.
Adam just thought it was the most unhinged thing for to pick a donor based on the fact that he's kind.
I think that's lovely.
I think it's lovely. Yeah. Adam has no soul. And, but no, he's actually the best. But he's like, you pick someone who's kind. And I was like, yes, because it would haunt me. Like it would break my heart if this tiny little person, well, they wouldn't be, they'd be older, but child of mine had a moment when this person was unkind or cruel or dismissive. Even if it's like they decide they want a 10-minute cup of tea with him at some point, I want him to have time for them and listen and be. So I just thought that one, I was like, he sounds kind, and I trust that even in 18 years' time, I hope that will be a kind grown man who is.
Can you might not be able to, because obviously that donor is, we're not allowed to know who he is. It's confidential. Yeah. Are you allowed to say any lines of the letter? Why you felt like that from the letter? Like what gave you that feel?
I can't remember. It was, I believe it was sort of his reasons behind donating. Yeah, I'm a nice dude. Famously not a good dude, if you've written that down. I think it was his reasons for donating. I think his reasons, well, because obviously some of them you just, especially I don't know if this one was in America. I remember going, I forget if it's the American catalogue. They're paid a lot. So you don't want to just be like, I'm fucking broke and I live in a trailer and need some money. You're like, oh God.
I've heard about the price difference.
Oh, Ricky. It's expenses in this country.
Yeah.
They get their expenses. They get like a meal deal and a train ticket.
Honestly. And I know this because I'm talking to a girl at the minute who donated some of her eggs. Yeah. And I know the figure that she got over here. And I think it was something like £700.
Yeah. Over there.
Like that. Over that. 10 grand.
But that's because in this country they are so protective against any sort of form of trafficking. Any version of what could be seen as trafficking or coercion. Exactly that. Or so it's all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it felt like his reasons for donating. I was like, I trust that these are reasons that will stand the test of time and down the line.
Are you happy to tell me what them reasons are?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember them particularly. I also have got this rule where the only thing I've told people about the donor is that he is a Caucasian and American. They're the only two things I've told about the donor because my rule is I obviously know absolutely everything. I know absolutely everything. The paperwork they give you. I mean, what's so funny now is like for me, the idea of meeting someone and taking them home and not knowing like what their granny died of and what their great uncle died of and how many cousins they have is terrifying. Like I know everything about this.
That's mad, isn't it? That you get into a relationship with someone, have a kid without knowing.
And then they turn around and go, oh, by the way, everyone died of Alzheimer's. And you're like, what the fuck? At 50. Like I have every piece of medical history from like 2 generations up, 3 to one side, like the colouring of everyone, eye colour, hair colour, like what they all do. You're like, I have so much absurd volumes of information that actually one day if I do meet someone, I'm going to be like, right, listen, I have a list.
The irony of what I said earlier about Darwinism and selecting the wrong bit of spunk. Actually,
I'm light years ahead. That's one thing about IVF is actually if and when they put it in, when they put the embryo in, actually because they're putting in the absolute healthiest embryo that you have, from what I can understand, actually the chance of miscarriages are that much lower because you've hopped a couple of stages. You put in a beautiful, again,
they've scanned the best.
Yes, so there's actually. Obviously, that's not always the case, but there's something actually. There's quite a plus to the IVF stuff, which is it's not this sort of random selection. It's very scientific, clinical, decided upon selection.
Right. Okay.
But no, the reason I'm only saying he's Caucasian and American is because I don't know if these however many children decide to turn up, I don't know if they will want to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll want to know. I don't know if they have these questions. I think, they're just happy. Like, no, this is us. This is our gang. This is enough. I want them to be the first people who have the information.
To know the information.
I want when they're old enough, we will have a sit down as a family and discuss who the donor was. I don't want them growing up with people having random bits of information that's floating around. Like, he was this, he did this, he did that. Oh, we think we as a gang will sit down and discuss what's best for my family, my little gang, and what they want to know, what they don't want to know, how they want to proceed. Yeah. And in a way, I just think that's a lot more respectful to them a little bit.
If you, let's say you go through this and you have one child. Yeah. And for argument's sake, you want a second child. Yeah. Would you try to get the same donor?
I've got a bunch of embryos. So I made loads.
So it would be a full brother or sister?
Yeah, be a full brother or sister.
Right.
I made loads.
I was curious, yeah. I was
again, that's really gloaty. There are women who make one, if that. Yeah. I was extremely lucky. My body turbo womaned fucking hard and I made loads.
Baby!
I literally, they called me, they were like, you have, about when I'm 37, they were like, they've all fertilized. I was like, what?
Is that unusual?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, for my age, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
So I was very lucky. So I've actually got, I've got a full lacrosse team, actually.
I don't know whether to ask this or not, but it's the Unstable podcast. Have you ever had any accidents or?
No, never.
Because that makes me sound like you're hyper fertile.
No, I know. And that's, and I know, because I've never had an accident. I've never been pregnant before. Have
you always been careful then?
I think so. There was one time, I was always on the pill, which, side note, ladies, we need to discuss the pill. It's not okay.
Why?
They're doing so much more research into it now, so much more studies into it about how much it changes you, what it actually does to your hormones, your personality, your character, and interestingly, who you're attracted to. When you're on the pill, because it's obviously changed everything, your whole hormonal, who you're attracted to on the pill is different, which is fucking terrifying because most of us are in our 20s when we're on the pill. We're picking our mate. We're picking the man we want to be with. We're picking who we're safe with. We're picking
Darwinism and all that shit.
And our entire system is being overhauled by a pill. Wow. That is terrifying. Yeah. So I do want us to one day we'll have a big contact. But Yeah, isn't that scary?
Mean, maybe the pill is the reason why I had so much success.
Because you're a good guy. That would be it. But there is just this thing of like, because the pill's supposed to make you feel pregnant, make your body think you're pregnant, so you don't have a period. It's meant to make. So it checks out that if your body and your hormones are telling you you're pregnant, you're going to go for nice guys who are like kind, which is, I mean, not a bad thing. It's good to get, but. It's going to make for problems if maybe, and it could work out well. I mean, it has for a lot of my friends who same as been on the pill all through the 20s. But like, it's going to happen. It definitely changed for me. I came off that pill and hell broke loose.
Did it?
Oh my God. Absolute hell broke loose. And I was like, who am I? Like, God, just bringing back all these like, this lunatic. Maybe I should go back on the pill. Maybe that's why I need to go back on the pill.
Freaking the fuck out of me now, mate. Get back on the pill.
Yeah, why are you bringing home ex-cons? But I do. I think it's an interesting one. But what was I saying about that? What did I say? Was it fascinating?
The conversation's just gone off on
it just went off. No, I love that. It's really good.
It's great. But I'm looking at the time.
I know you have to start.
We're going to have to call it, I'm afraid. Are you happy to stick around and do a bit more for the Patreon?
Yeah, we'll do the Patreon. We'll get really into it on the Patreon. I'll show you my eggs on the page.
Yeah, we've got them under the desk.
Yeah,
they're here.
We're gonna name them.
Where can they find you, mate?
So on socials, it's Pratty Heston, Pratty Heston. I live in Liverpool, but I'm on a little Tourette next year, a little tour. That's what I'm calling it, and that is in sort of February time. So that'll be all over. So
is that on sale?
It is on sale. It's called Toxic Waste, and it's sort of all about, it's my 1 hour, but it includes, it's not about IVF, it includes the stuff about IVF and having baby alone. First ever solo show. Yeah. Debuted it in Liverpool, and it was lovely. It was one of my favourite nights of my life. So now it's going on a little jaunt.
How many dates are you doing?
6.
Yeah. It's on sale. We'll put the link in the description. So get your ticket. She's a great comic. I'm not just saying that because she's sat next to me. She's fucking shite. Don't bother. No, she's great. She's really, really good. For a female comedian.
Yeah, for a female. She's great. She's a really good female comedian. Yeah.
No, she's really
brave
good.
Women.
She really, really is good. As ever, guys, thanks for watching. Do me a favour, press like, do a little comment because it all helps with the algorithm. We're going to go across to Patreon now. It's still only £1 a month for the first 1,000 Patrons.
It's really great.
It's good, isn't it? I just thought if I can get... no one misses a quid.
No, that's fantastic.
Sounds dead stupid. It'll really help the podcast.
Yeah.
We've got enough now that it's paying for itself. Like all the subscriptions we have to pay and stuff. We're breaking even. So that's great. And genuinely, I'm using the money to make the podcast better because I'd love to do like specials and like live shows. I
think you're doing
a
smart thing. It's really good.
Yeah. So please do sign up. It's patreon.com/unstablepod. So yeah, get on that. It's only £1 a month and that will never change. That's all you'll pay as long as you're one of the first 1,000. And then what we're doing as well, when I've got to 1,000, I'm going to get little passport pictures of all the first 1,000 and have the logo redone with all their Patreon faces in there. Yeah. I haven't announced that.
And then after that, it's going to be £400 to be a Patreon.
Then it's going to go up a lot. So get it while it's cheap. Thanks ever so much, guys, sticking around. As I say, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your nan, and we'll see you next week. Trap.